In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the front upper control arms on this Ford Ranger. These are located behind your front wheels, and after this job is done, you will need an alignment. Let's get started. With the vehicle safely raised and supported, use a 19mm socket, take off all 5 lug nuts, and pull the wheel off. With our wheel off, we can see where the upper ball joint connects to the knuckle right here. This is a 15mm mounting nut. We'll use a socket and a power tool on this, and then a 13mm wrench on the bolt head to hold it. Make sure this spins. If it doesn't, that means it's stuck inside the knuckle. You'll have to work it back and forth. Mine does, which is great. Punch this bolt out. If needed, use a punch to continue driving it out. And look at that, the ball joint separated. Sometimes it doesn't, so you'll have to tap the knuckle, create vibrations. In my case, it looks like it was all greased up, which is great. We'll continue wiggling this and popping this out. At this point, you want to make sure the knuckle doesn't come forward because it can separate the axle. So just let it lean backwards. Our hardware that mounts the control arm is going to be behind this liner. We can remove it, or you could just push it out of the way as you work. This hardware is 21mm in size, so we'll use a socket and a wrench to loosen this up. You're going to want to loosen the nut side, which is towards the front of the truck. You may or may not need a wrench to hold the bolt in place. With it loosened up, we'll remove the nut all the way. There's also a washer here that is supposed to secure the bolt in place and prevent it from spinning around. That's what helps with your alignment. And then the bolt comes out towards the inside. If it doesn't come out because it's hitting the shock tower, just spin it around to clear it. And there it is. Do the same to the other bolt. Mine, unfortunately, is installed backwards, so yours is actually supposed to be easier to remove. There's the mounting nut. There we go. And you can pull the bolt out. Now you can pull the control arm right out. There it is. Take your new control arm and line it up with the frame. Use a rubber mallet to tap it into place if needed. Do your best to get the bolt holes lined up. And once they are, stick the bolts right through. Move the control arm as needed to get things lined up. And that one is through. Perfect. I'll get this washer on for the outside. It looks like the bolt has to spin a little bit. And we'll get the nut started. Let's get this rear bolt in. If there are any brake lines in the way, you can push them out of your way. Looks like this one wasn't really supposed to go here. It looks like someone made that. I'll just spin this around, clear the line. In it goes. Perfect. All the way up against the frame. And then on the other side, we'll put this washer in. It's keyed, so you might have to spin the bolt a little bit to get it on. And then the mounting nut. Now what we have to do is put the control arm up at right height so we can torque it properly. That way we don't damage these bushings prematurely. Right about here is where that is. It's very difficult for me to lock this position in. Usually I would put a pry bar in somewhere. I can't in this case because there are no holes anywhere providing me with a spot to do that. So what I will do is just keep an eye on it as I tighten one bolt, because once I tighten one, it'll stay where it is. I just have to make sure it stays while I tighten that first one. I'm going to put my socket on the nut side, and of course this time it fits like it should. To make sure the bolt stays in place, I'm going to use a wrench, sneak it in here, and make sure it doesn't spin. All right, that's nice and snug. We'll come back to torque this after we tighten the front one. All right, both are tight. Let's torque them. 98 foot-pounds is the torque on both of these. All right, with a pry bar over the control arm in that hole in the frame, you can pry this down and line up the ball joint with the knuckle. And I remember the bolt went in from the rear to the front. There we go. Start in the mounting nut and snug it up. For the bolt provided with the control arm, you'll need a 17mm wrench to hold it. The nut side is still a 15. Torque this to 41 foot-pounds. All right, that's tight. And if you pushed your splash shield out of the way, just pull it back down. Let's get our wheel reinstalled. We'll put back all 5 lug nuts, bottom them out in a cross pattern, and also in a cross pattern, torque them to 100 foot-pounds. 100 foot-pounds in a cross pattern, here we go. Double check them all. And there you have it. Job is done, now go get an alignment.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.